everybody, what's going on? This is your girl Catrice, and welcome to Cocktail Hour with Catrice and behind the scenes, okay? Listen, I'm so excited that you all decided to click on this video today, and I don't normally do pre-recorded videos, okay? This is normally not my jam. Y'all know I like to live stream. However, I wanted to address something really quickly that I've been seeing over the last couple of days, but before I do, let's recap of what's been going on, all right? So last Wednesday, I posted in Patreon and reached out to other content creators to let them know that there was an expose coming. That was purely a download that came to pass on Thursday. Thursday morning, I wake up to a series of text messages and I thought the video only had like 10 views on it or something at the time, that Vincent Terrill Hill posted in regards to his 15-year tenure in the ministry and friendship with Larry Reed Live, as well as his 13-year alleged sexual relationships. Now, we were not there. I know that there was audio, video, and all that taking place. I'm going to just say allegedly to cover myself here. He also went live on Friday night to do a Q&A. So I went live on Friday and shared with you all the things that I had gotten and did some research on or whatever. And then he went live Friday night, and he had about, the last time I had checked, because I kind of popped in and out, of course, I'm not going to be in the comment section. I really don't go in anyone's comment section like that anymore. But he was up to like about 3,000 people in the chat at one time, or viewing at one time. And he shared, an open letter to Larry. He also gave a little bit of background, and then he did a Q&A, right? And the Q&A was not that organized, but he did the best that he could along with his producers. Now, here's what I have been seeing online since Friday. And the only reason why I'm recording this is because, again, I don't know Terrill Hill. I don't know the situation in and out. So none of us can really speak matter of fact. We could just give our own opinions and speculations, but none of us can say without a shadow of a doubt, this is what's going on with their friendship. But a lot of people have been asking this one question. And because of my tenure in the ministry and the situations that I have been through in my past in the ministry, I thought I could shed a little bit of light for you all. And a lot of this is not rocket science. It's not it's not breaking news, right? It's pretty much basic stuff, right? So what I've been seeing is, why now? Why is he coming up with the story right now? The why question is an interesting question for me, because no one can actually tell you 100% matter of fact, this is why he's coming out. Only Terrill Hill can tell you all. And he did an okay job of trying to break it down, but I do think that he was very nervous when he was doing his commentary and talking about it, because he's I think he's more of a vlogger instead of a live streamer. I'm the opposite. I love to live stream. I love the engagement of my audience, and I kind of feed off of my audience, and I like to elaborate on what my audience what they put in the chat, but he seems like more of a person that does better with pre-recorded videos. And a lot of people are asking, why now? Why are you coming out with this now? Why would you wait all this time and then come out with the situation? I will say this, if you've never been in ministry before, then, and I'm talking about not just operating as an usher, even though it's a very important position. Every position to me is important in the church. Every position. I don't care if you come and clean the bathrooms on the weekends, or you are preaching, or if you're a deacon or a musician. Every position to me is important, because we're all there doing it for one cause, and that is to give God glory and to edify the body. However, if you've never operated in full-time ministry, or you didn't work for their organization that was connected to the church, then you don't really understand what really goes into being a part of that type of relationship with your pastor. Okay. Now, I personally, my senior pastor is now deceased, God rest his soul. My co-pastor, who's now the senior pastor of the church, she is still alive. I grew up AME, and they changed pastors, but the one church that I actually served in for 10 years, my co-pastor at the time is now the senior pastor, and she's still very much alive. I saw her a few weeks ago. This is what I will say to you all about the situation. And again, it's not rocket science. There's a certain level of allegiance that a person has when they operate in ministry with their pastor, especially if you are an assistant, an armor bearer, a fellow minister. There's a certain relationship that you have with your pastor that is, it's an interesting relationship because you get to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And when I say that is, I recall there were times when I was in the ministry that I would see how my pastors were being mistreated, how they were talked about, how they were ridiculed, how they were disrespected. I saw how they were, how they disrespected others, they offended others. I saw, that there were times where they had tumultuous relationships with people, or folks would spread lies and rumors and speculate this and that, whether it was in the community or in the church. They dealt with a lot of stuff. And a lot of times when you are connected to a pastor in an associate or assistant position, I was an armor bearer at the time at the beginning, before I was an ordained minister, you have there's a certain level of allegiance and loyalty that you have to that pastor because of what you see behind the scenes. You hear the conversations of, the person is speculating that your pastor is this way or your pastor is that way. And you see how the pastor hurts. You see how that pastor feels. You see how they cry. You might see how their children are treated, right? You might see a lot of different things that have to do with their position and their position only, not because of the person that they are, but because of the position that they hold. And so because of that, you as the associate or the armor bearer or assistant pastor or whatever capacity, you don't want to be that person. You want to be a person that shows them that I am loyal to you. I know that you're being treated poorly and I am so sorry for that. Although there are times when you see how they treat other people, but you do see how they're treated, and you do see that they are not always respected. You do see that people do not always honor them properly, even if they go above and beyond to do anything that they can do for that parishioner or that community member. I know my pastors were very big in the community, and people would take advantage of that. And there were times where people would I promise I'll be back, and I promise I'll do this, and I'm gonna help the ministry do this and that, and then they would drop the ball. And you would be the person that would be in that office with them while they are crying their eyes out, or they feel down and discouraged about the efforts that they're trying to do. And again, you don't want to be that person. You want to be the best person, an assistant or whatever deacon that you can be for that pastor, because you realize they're dealing with a lot. You also don't want them to feel like they are by themselves. You want them to feel like they have the utmost support from you. Again, even if that person is disrespecting you, even if that person is offending you or saying things that are out of the way to you, you still don't want to be the person to say to them, Pastor so-and-so, I don't like how you're treating me. Because a lot of people don't realize that although the pastor is human, the pastor has a position that they hold, there are some pastors, and I'm not saying all, that deal with narcissism. They are used to having their way. And so a lot of times when the associate or the armor bearer, the deacon that's close to the pastor, they try to keep them happy. They don't realize that they can also turn around and become a target of that abuse. Okay? They don't realize that person can turn around and mistreat them, and then they'll find themselves in a similar situation that someone else is talking about. And then you have a light bulb moment like, oh, wow, this is what they were talking about. Now I'm being mistreated. A lot of times you don't realize that you're in it until it's too late. And then again, you have a certain allegiance, which is how we have a lot of people that become yes people to their pastors. I often talk about this on my show, how the pastors have folks that will yes them to death. They will say, yes, pastor, yes, pastor. They rarely say no. They rarely put their foot down and say, I cannot do that. And this is how, again, a lot of pastors fall into a narcissistic state, and also sometimes will even exude narcissistic abuse to their parishioners and to others that are around them or their assistants, because after a while they're so used to getting their way. Like, how dare you tell me no when you've always told me yes? They don't realize that they are now dealing with a full-fledged narcissist who, whether they are covert or they are a communal narcissist, that person feels the need to have it their way all the time, and they don't consider anyone else, because then they're going to say to you, well, you see how this person is treating me, you see how this person has dogged me out, I can't deal with another person in my inner circle doing this to me. How could you possibly do this to me? How could you possibly leave me the way that this person has left me? I gave them X, Y. You saw that I gave this person this. You saw how I wrote that check. You saw how I gave food to their home, and then just left me by myself. They left me alone to rot in hell, and here I am. I cannot have anyone else do this to me. Or you might even hear from the pastor how they can't be around certain people that don't do certain things for them, or they're around certain people. I remember a time personally where there was a situation going on with one of my friends in the ministry, and my pastor was out of town, and she decided to put her notice in that she was leaving the church. And I got a call from LA saying to me, when she got back in town, she needed to meet with us. And the meeting consisted of her saying to myself and other people in my age group, I don't think that it's wise that you all continue to associate with that person because of what was done and how it was said. The person that put in their notice tried to respectfully confront the pastor at that time, and she was not feeling it. She felt disrespected again, because she felt like just because she was leaving the church that she was leaving her. It was not a situation where there was room for growth, or she wanted to leave because she wanted to go into a different role or be a part of a praise team and do the things that she really wanted to do. She felt like she was leaving her as an individual and not going to pursue other opportunities with another ministry, but she would still come back, right? She just said, hey, I wanted to be a part of this praise team. I like how they do their services. I like how their praise team is, and I really want to be a part. And so I don't think a lot of people realize that they are now dealing with a full-fledged narcissist who will go into a narcissistic rage because they are upset about the fact that they feel like they are being abandoned. They feel like you are leaving me, you are abandoning me, and you are like everyone else that's been out here in the community and in the church. You're going to do the same thing to me that person is doing. And that's what happens a lot of times. You have the pastors who feel like they can do no wrong and they're always right. And so again, if that assistant always yeses them and treats them a certain type of way, they will feel some type of way if you decide to start setting boundaries for yourself, or you decide to again, pursue something else that you really want to do. Hey, I want to move to Colorado instead of being in Los Angeles, right? And that pastor might say, well, why would you want to be in Colorado? They do, they smoke there, that there. Well, how would you want to go? Don't you want to just stay here with me? But when your heart is really in another place and you really want to do it for yourself, sometimes they can't understand why you want to leave. They want you to stay with them. I think that if you're with a person for more than 10 years, then, I know one person right now who is so loyal to a person, she does not even see a lot of her family sometimes because of spending so much time with her pastor. She is so loyal to her pastor that she will neglect family time, which I have done. I'm guilty of that as well. When I was in ministry, she will neglect her family, her children. She will neglect her mother because she is serving the pastor. And I'm not saying serving in the horizontal sense. I'm talking about serving in the Christian way, making sure that she has what she needs, that she has all the documents if she has to travel, and helping her pack. She is so loyal to a fault that she rarely even has time for herself. She does not have time to do anything outside serve the pastor. And if and only if she steps up and says, hey, I really want to do this, she will always get a look, but she will also be allowed to go. And this person is probably in her early 60s now, if I'm not mistaken. So when it comes down to Terrill Hill, I can, especially if he's alleging having a 13-year sexual relationship, not only are you having a Christian-based ministry relationship, but you're also having a physical, horizontal sexual relationship with a person who is also your spiritual leader, your personal prophet, and that makes it 20 times worse to walk away from that person especially if others have used them, have used them up, taken from them, in their mind stolen from them, and then like left them out to dry by themselves. I can only imagine that he struggled with himself greatly before he decided to really say enough is enough. I'm going to walk away from the situation to cleanse myself. Now, he did say he came back because he wanted to join the hustle. He said he wanted to make money. That is also a big reason why people come back, is financial stability. You can't knock that. People need to survive. People need to eat. People need to pay their bills, right? And so, but then he also stated that, after a while, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it, and he needed to go on and to pursue things on his own. And so I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I'm not saying that all pastors are narcissists. I'm not saying that Larry Reed is narcissist, although I do see narcissistic traits. Because I've been doing a great study on narcissism because of my own personal relationships and with my family and friends and people that I've dated. But who am I to say that person, what his experience is? Only Terrill Hill and those who are involved in said relationships with Larry are able to speak on that the way that they should. I just thought that I would bring some insight to you all as to why some people may stay so loyal and in allegiance with the person that they feel like are abusing them. And trust and believe, if a person is close to a pastor and leader, and that pastor is being abused or talked about or mistreated by parishioners or community members, you best believe that person, that assistant, that deacon, that armor bearer may be being mistreated by the pastor as well, because they have no one else to take it out on, unless it's their children or their spouses. Okay? I hope that makes some sense for you all. Drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. Bye. Hey, listen, if you like this video, please do not forget to hit that like, that share, and that subscribe button. Okay, I'd love to have you here, part of the Cocktails community. Okay, part of the Wise Council. All right, in the street committee, chat, because I always need somebody's ear to the streets. I'll see you soon. Bye.